At a time when much of the world finds itself facing conflict and struggle, you work to ease the plights of those looking for a better life. As President and CEO of the International Rescue Committee, you lead efforts that have enormous impact on the lives of others. As the son of Jewish refugees, you bring a personal responsibility to the mission of the IRC. You advocate on behalf of the world's most vulnerable people, and your commitment to bringing conversations about the current refugee crisis to the fore demonstrates a passion for social justice that is shared by the New School. Prior to your work with the IRC, you had a distinguished political career in the United Kingdom. As Environment Secretary for Parliament, you made climate change a priority. As Foreign Secretary, you pushed for the advancements in human rights. And in the words of former US President Bill Clinton, you are one of the ablest, most creative public servants of our time. The New School is honored to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, the bar has been set very high by the other honorary degrees today. I am truly honored to be here today because of the New School and what it represents, because of you and your achievements, and because of the extraordinary company on the stage today. Icons, critics, activists who have all challenged the world and changed it in remarkable ways. Here is what I want to say to you in just 4 or 5 minutes today. That today you become guardians of and ambassadors for a vital tradition of scholarship that asserts values instead of hiding them. And my call to you today is to carry a torch for that intellectual scholarly tradition. Think about the word academic. It can mean rigor and standards and independence, but it can also mean abstruse, detached from reality. Today, I hope and believe that you stand for rigor and action, not rigor instead of action. Let's face it, universities should be places of thought, not of dogma. Respect for the opinions of others. Respect for the opinions of others, the essence of a university, does not require, though, the suspension of our values. And this university was established to advance some very clear values of liberty in the face of tyranny and of social criticism in the face of the old order. And if there is a common element joining the 6 of us on the stage today, then that is the point. IRC, the International Rescue Committee, was founded at more or less the same time as the New School, between the European wars of the 20th century, in New York, like the New School, also by exiles and by émigrés. In our case, it was Albert Einstein who dedicated the International Rescue Committee to rescue intellectuals from Europe suffering from the ultimate assault on reason. So for me to be here at what in 1933 was called the University in Exile is especially appropriate and meaningful. The reason is simple. More people today are suffering the perils of exile around the world than at any time since the Second World War. 1 in every 120 people on the planet is displaced by conflict. 60 million people fleeing for their lives. Today, my organization works in 30 countries and in 29 US cities to bring dignity to people whose lives are shattered by conflict and a home for those who do make it to the US as refugees. Remember, we're meeting less than 2 miles from the Statue of Liberty, which says this country was founded to bring the poor, the huddled, the masses to this country as immigrants and as refugees. We, the IRC, we are an organization of aid workers marked by extraordinary practical intelligence on the ground. And in truth, I am accepting this honorary degree for those aid workers as much as I'm accepting it for myself today. But as well as practical intelligence, we need the same spirit of normative inquiry, of values-based scholarship that the New School has made its hallmark over 80 years. I want to finish with a thought from the American sociologist C. Wright Mills, who wrote an extraordinary book in 1960, and it was called The Sociological Imagination. And in it, he warned against two dangers: the danger of the bureaucratic ethos that treads on originality and independence, and the danger also of the moral scatter that makes liberalism illiberal because it loses sight of what it stands for. And he called on students and graduates like you to make a difference in the world by seeing the link between the homeless man on the street and the society in which he lives, between the troubled teenager and the wider social order, and yes, between the killed black civilian and the society in which he lives as well. And he called us to link public issues to personal troubles, and that feels like an important call today. When refugees are dehumanized by politicians or by statistics, remember, they're people. When countries far away are dismissed as of no interest, remember, no man or woman is an island. And when you are told that globalization means that power has been ceded by democracies to market forces, remember that the resources for organization and engagement have never been greater. And it's a sad but true representation of that the photographer who took the photograph of Aylan Kurdi, the 3-year-old Syrian boy washed up on the shores of Turkey, that photographer did more for public awareness about the war in Syria than all the debates in the UN Security Council over the last 5 years. And so my message to you is a simple one. That photographer could be you. And we can all be photographers these days, but not as good as those of you who've got the degree. By registering here, consciously or not, you engaged with an important tradition. By graduating here, consciously, you're embodying that tradition. I congratulate you on your achievement, and I look forward to working with you as you succeed, as you seek to fulfill the mission of the school, to engage with the modern world, not just to study it. Thank you very much indeed.